Howdy folks. Today we got a drink to make that's three things. It's a riff on a classic, which is a great place to start if you're gonna make up a drink. Start with a classic and tweak it a little. Two, it's got a theme, which is also good. If you got a theme, you can tell your guests about the theme, whether it's geographically related or comes from a book or a movie or something. It's great to have a theme. And three, these are all local or at least regional ingredients. It's great to support local producers. Check it out. Alright, so I'm going to be making a Negroni variation. Now, it's not going to have Campari in it, which I know is like maybe not exactly a Negroni, so I'm not going to call it a Negroni. I'm going to call it the West Coast Swing. Now, I'm calling it the West Coast Swing as part of my theme. The theme is that all these ingredients are coming from the West Coast of America. Now, the first ingredient is Freeland Dry Gin. I've mentioned Freeland on here before. They are a local distillery here in Portland. They're owned and run by women, which is great. Love to see more women in the spirits industry. They have a number of gins. They have 3 gins and a bourbon in their lineup. The blue bottle gin is sort of a lower proof regular gin. The sort of pink peach colored gin is a Geneva style gin called Geneva Gin. They're using their own rye base to make the gin from. It's a little bit malty. It's really good as well. Now this dry gin I just picked up, it's 57 proof, so a little bit overproof. I've really been enjoying it. It's got like a really nice lemon sort of citrus note to it. And I'm not one to really drink gin straight, just like sip gin in a glass, but I do sometimes sip this gin straight. I really enjoy it. Now, ingredient 2 is from a place in Seattle, also women owned and run. It's called Fast Penny Spirits, and the product they've made is called Americano. I've got a little bit of an issue with the name, just because the first 20 times I saw it first on Instagram. I thought it said Americano, which at first I thought, well, that's not good. Don't use the word Americano, because there's already a Bruto Americano and Coke Americano. There's a coffee drink called Americano. There's a cocktail called Americano. It's an overused word, I think. But then when I bought the bottle, I realized it's not Americano, it's Americano, which is like a portmanteau, a mashup of Amaro and American, I guess. Americano, which is a little bit clever, but it was still kind of confusing. I don't love the name, but I do like the product. Now, I've sipped it and compared it to Bruto Americano because it is another dark red, sort of bitter aperitif, and it's darker in tone. You know, it's got a lot of chocolatey, truffle kind of notes, whereas and a different sort of bitterness. Like Bruto Americano is like really punch you in the face bitter, and this is a little bit backed off from that. I really like it. They also have a Bianco version, like a lighter colored version. I haven't tried that one yet. I'm looking forward to trying it, and I don't know what that one tastes like. So hit me up, Fast Penny Spirits. All right, so our third ingredient is lo-fi vermouth. This just happens to be the vermouth that I have on hand at the moment. I bought it sort of on a lark. It suddenly was sort of everywhere available, so I just thought, well, I'll give this a shot. It comes from Napa Valley, and it's created by this guy, Stephen Grassa? I don't know how to pronounce his name. He created Sailor Jerry and Hendrix. I didn't know this when I bought the stuff, but so he's sort of a big shot in terms of just creating brands, you know? I have no use for Sailor Jerry, and Hendrix is pretty good, but it's not really for me. I don't really keep Hendrix around. But this lo-fi vermouth is pretty good. The wine comes from Gallo, which is just a huge producer of wine, like not very good wine. So anyway, I tried the stuff. It's pretty good. It's got rhubarb in it. They list all the botanicals that are in it. It's got rhubarb and a few other things, and you can sort of taste the rhubarb. It's got a little bit of a sour flavor. It's not as dark and thick and rich as like the Italian ones, like a Torino. It's a little lighter, a little more sour, not quite as bitter, and not quite as sweet. So it's sort of a little bit in between. I did make a Manhattan with it, and that came out pretty good. I mean, I think it's an overall not a bad vermouth. So if lo-fi is available in your area, I mean, don't be afraid to try it out. So I tried this a couple times, and I realized the Americano being so much darker, this drink needed a little bit of brightness. It needed to be citrused up a little bit. I didn't want to put citrus in it, but I did find these yuzu bitters that are made in LA, which is good. That fits our West Coast theme. I saw them at the local bitters store. Yes, we have a bitters store here in Portland. It's called The Meadow. They sell chocolate, salt, and bitters, and it's amazing. I picked them up on a lark, and here we go, West Coast swing. All right, so let's mix this up and see what we think. So let's give this a try. Decided to use my skull ice on this, you know. You can watch that video. I'll leave a link in the description. Got a nice orange peel on the nose. Oh yeah. It's rich. It still isn't quite as bright as like a Negroni. Campari does have that sort of citrusy almost brightness to it, and this is a little more brooding, a little darker. That Americano, I think, really adds a little, yeah, chocolatey, truffle sort of flavor to it. It's bitter. It's appropriately bitter. Man, this is really doing well. It comes in waves. I get the gin at the end, that sort of zing of the gin at the end. In the middle is all the Americano with those truffle sort of notes, and the vermouth sort of buoying everything up, and I think that sour rhubarb taste is contrasting nicely. This is a good drink. The yuzu bitters, I think it does brighten it up slightly. You don't like really taste the yuzu, but that's not the point of bitters. The point of bitters is to sort of add a little spice, you know. This could also use maybe a dash of saline solution. That might be okay too. All right, so if you're making up a cocktail at your house, maybe start with the classic and tweak it a little. Maybe think about having a theme, a geographic theme, or yeah, a theme of some other sort. And definitely support local producers of whatever spirits and ingredients that you can, because that's what keeps the world going around. All right, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe and give it a like. If there's anything you think I should try, put it down in the comments, and we'll see you next time.